Today's video, we're going to talk about ChatGPT for blogging or blog posts. Here's how we did it for a company that I'm also part owner/investor. So I can explain in detail if you were thinking about using ChatGPT to do blogging on your site, which ultimately we know most of you guys that means getting traffic to your site for free that you don't deserve, or maybe you think you deserve it using ChatGPT to write content. This is going to tell you how much traffic you can basically legitimately drive to your site using ChatGPT to write all your blog content. It's been quite the rage on YouTube, as I've seen, since ChatGPT came out. Can you actually use ChatGPT to trick Google into thinking this is valuable content that they should rank in their search engine? The short answer of that is yes, you can absolutely trick Google. And I'm going to explain at least how we did it, basically bypass Google's filters. Now, I don't want to say no matter what, every time this is going to work, because Google can change their mind about how they rank, what they rank at any time. What I'm here to tell you is, as a marketer, you always got to think outside the box and think for yourself. Does Google really care what content they rank, even though they say they're legitimately against AI-generated content? And that can technically get you a penalty. At the end of the day, Google, do they want people to use AI-driven content as a whole? No. Why? Because everybody will start doing it, and then there won't be any human content to rank anymore. Practically speaking, though, does Google care if that ChatGPT post produces an article that's better than every other thing that ranks on Google for that particular topic? Does Google care if it's a ChatGPT post? No, they do not. All they care at the end of the day, and where the rubber meets the road, baby, is this content the best content to rank for this particular search phrase? If it is, they're ranking it. ChatGPT/AI be damned. Okay, so the key thing here is that I'm going to share, and you're going to learn on this video here today, is you can rank well using AI/ChatGPT related content on your site. If what you're trying to rank for has low competition, you're not going to get any 5,000 a month keyword searches and rank at the top just using ChatGPT content, because there's more money at stake ranking for a keyword like that, meaning your competitors who also want to rank for that term have dumped real money into ranking for that term, so you aren't going to outcompete them with your non-investment into ChatGPT-based content. However, on the flip side, if nobody's trying to go for a search term, and you basically are the only guy or gal who is tried to optimize for this term in the history of the term itself, and you just put together a dedicated blog post using ChatGPT to have the only dedicated article for that keyword, you're in the running to rank using ChatGPT-based content. I'm going to share how to do this, how we did it for our firm, for the company that I mentioned that I'm an investor in, so you can replicate the same thing for yourself, at least knowing how we did it, so you're not starting from scratch with this. For that matter, you should be inquisitive enough, even if I weren't giving you this information, to try it out, because the potential return is so huge. The cost to produce ChatGPT content is almost none. The only drawback is a potential penalty, if you will, but you obviously know you could have generated one blog post with ChatGPT, see if it ranks or not, and that would be the end of it, and there wouldn't be much risk there. You don't have to necessarily just be a complete scientist with this. Just take it from us that we did it, we got it to rank, and I'm going to tell you exactly how to do it the same way for yourself. I am Corey Zyman, owner of Guarantee PPC, an online advertising agency that specializes in getting clients guaranteed results with their campaigns, and do not charge management fees to our clients until we get them a certain lift in profitability from their ads upfront on their existing ads, or a new campaign that they're trying to do upfront with us, which should tell you about the quality of the information that you're getting on this channel as a whole. Whereas the content here is not about online advertising or bread and butter. I talk about other topics time to time where something is just too good to pass up. And frankly, good ads that you run, you got to know, in order to be a good advertiser, you got to know about landing pages, websites, and then with all that, the information of what you do with ads, it will be so much better if you have other things going at the same time. Email marketing to make ads better. Taking the information you learn from ads, using it to power an SEO campaign for yourself, which will make that return on that ad campaign technically better. And that's what this particular video is talking about and tapping into here. by the way. If you stay to the end of the video, I will tell you how much we made / are continuing to make using this for the company that we've invested in, and how much this is actually going to be able to make you over time if you go ahead and do it for yourself. So make sure you watch to the end. With that said, I've got the 4-step process that we actually followed for this particular company that I'm an investor in, which is a home goods company. Basically a product that you put in your backyard like that, which is a kind of a new product category. So it kind of is I will admit, a good category of product to promote with ChatGPT based content, because there's not a lot of competition in the SEO space. If that's you, you absolutely should be doing this for yourself, because you can rank easy, and ChatGPT, when you don't have to try that hard to rank, is already good enough, like I was trying to mention earlier. With that said, what this actually is, starting with the first step in the process here, you're gonna, by the way, once you have this, you're just gonna shoot this over to an assistant. The assistant's gonna be able to wrap their hands around it right away, and they're gonna report back to you once a week, once a month with the report saying they did the work. You're gonna check it, and that's all you're gonna have to do here. That's the way that it's set up at our company, and that's basically the way that you need to do it, because minor details about how the articles are written doesn't matter, frankly, in the grand scheme of things. So the first step in this process that we use and that you should use for yourself is start out by running ads for your business successfully on Google Ads. That way, you're going to have the data to know what you should actually be ranking for. Because I tell people all the time at our firm, they'll reach out to our agency and they'll say, Corey, should I be doing SEO as well? We actually have been starting to do, with a partner that we work with, a guaranteed SEO program as well, where we guarantee your pages keywords make it to the first page. And when they do, it's a flat rate per keyword. And if you don't get them onto the page, there's no fee. And until you get them on the page, there's no fee. It ties in with our brand guaranteed PPC. And the reason why we did that is mainly because when a client gets great results with their ads, you'd be a complete fool to not do an SEO program targeting the same exact terms that are making you tons of money right now with your PPC for SEO, particularly because you have an informational advantage over your competitors that are not running ads. The typical person that does SEO, I'm sorry if this ruffles feathers here, but more often than not, they're cheap. They don't want to spend on ads, so they think the answer to their woes, their sales woes, are do SEO because it's cheaper. Otherwise, it would just run ads. And you can't say because, oh, it's too expensive to get customers through ads, because that just means you aren't doing the ads right. And if you don't know how, you hire the expert that does know how to do the ads right. Period, bottom line, end of story, okay? I say the best SEO strategy is a PPC strategy that works for several reasons. One of which, like what we're talking about here today, is you find the actual keywords that are profitable so you can rank them, versus the SEO guy who doesn't want to do PPC. He's going to use the Google keyword tool or keyword planner to find out high volume searches in their space and try to rank them. The problem with that is you're going to go ahead and go after terms that everybody else that has the same idea and don't know anything about running ads or want to, and they're going to go after those same keywords. And the more people trying to rank for those keywords, the harder it is, naturally. So yes, they get searched a lot. It's much, much easier to do SEO starting with the information of the keywords that Google keyword tool won't show you, because there's so little searches that you know that even though there's only 10 searches a month for this keyword, like 10% of the people who click through this keyword from your PPC campaign convert into a sale. So nobody even knows to go for it. And it's super, super high converting. So if you just rank for this keyword, you're going to get an extra sale or two a month, and it's going to take basically no work to rank for it. But people will say, oh, it's only a sale a month. Well, yeah, one sale a month. But when you do that 500 freaking times, you got 500 sales a month. And it's way easier to do what I just told you there than it is to go after the top 5 terms that get all the searches that everybody and their mom are trying to go after. Trust me on that. So you can do what you want, but this is a great workaround strategy. And if you're in a highly competitive space, those top 5 terms that get all the searches, unless you're going to be dumping at least $5,000 a month in backlinks, you can freaking forget about ranking for those terms. If not 10, 20, 30,000 a month, because there's big money ranking for those terms. It's much easier to go after the terms nobody's going after, make your money there, then reinvest into the terms that are a little bit harder, and then a little bit harder, and then a little bit harder, until you've got all the way at the top. Why? Because just by going ahead and getting traffic for all the other terms, you're going to get all this business coming through your website domain. Google's going to raise your domain authority. And then when you finally do go after those hardest terms to rank for, 10 times easier because your domain authority is higher. Half of ranking in general, I know because I look at people's sites all day long, is just the domain authority. You give me a national brand to rank for, all I got to do is put the page on the site that targets that keyword and it will rank, even if it's a hard to rank for keyword. Domain authority is so important nowadays. And I know that because we put landing pages together at our firm, and as a bonus to the client, that we're trying to use to make our Google Ads work, we'll get it indexed through uploading a list of those landing pages to the Google Search Console via a sitemap. And then boom, 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 they get all these rankings and all these extra leads coming through a landing page. Makes us look great because the ROI on their campaign looks great because they think anything that comes through the landing page from us, but really it's a mixture of the ads and the SEO together, which I don't hide it. Hey, why not do that? Because that'll justify our services and what we're charging for them more than not. So why not do that? When you're ranking for hard terms, you got to have domain authority really that matches the top players in your space. If you don't, you're going to have, it's going to be such an uphill battle and so much more expensive. Fight it just by having additional backlinks that it's just not going to be affordable anymore. And backlinks aren't cheap anymore. Nowadays, you got to have a legitimate backlink or it doesn't work for the most part. Now, I will admit I'm not an SEO expert. I'm not directly involved in it every day, but for the most part, if it's not, SEO is not easy anymore because you can't send backlinks at a site and get it to rank. Good backlinks are going to be $1,000 a piece versus back in the day it was 50 cents a piece because Google didn't have so much. They actually counted the poor backlink. Anyway, with all that said, you run an ad campaign first. Do what you have to do to get the ad campaign to work. If someone came to your doorstep right now and said, I'm going to come back in 90 days, and if you don't have a PPC campaign working for your company, I'm going to blow your freaking head off. You would find a way to get that ad campaign to work. Bottom line, that's the way you need to think to actually get it to work. Otherwise, you're going to do it totally half-assed or quarter-assed, whatever you want to say, and spend your typical 15 minutes setting up that ad campaign, not get it to work, then get pissed off and blame Google because you're too arrogant to blame yourself and realize it's you that's the problem, not Google Ads because your competitor is making money. That's it at the end of the day. With all that, you force yourself to make the ads work. You're going to get that sweet, sweet conversion search term data on which search terms convert, which ones don't. You're going to find lots of 3, 4, 5 word phrases that convert at like 10 times the rate, the terms that get all the search volume convert because they're super specific. Obviously, if you're selling red shoes, you could target red shoes, but only 0.5% of those people searching for that convert versus buy red shoes now gets a small fraction of the searches, but it converts at 5.5%. So it converts 10. So basically, you get the same amount of profit from both. One's 10 times easier to rank for. But you won't know it until you get the PPC working. And yes, Google's been hiding part of the search term data, but that's no excuse because they give you enough search term data to know what to rank for still. Anyway, once you got that search term data, you've completed step 1. You got that out of the way now. Then, step 2, have ChatGPT create your blog posts. And this is actually very easy. So you take your search term that is highly profitable to you. If you've got your conversion tracking set up right, you know exactly how much revenue each search term's produced for your business up to now. And if you don't know your revenue, you need to know. That is, if you're generating leads, you damn well need to feed in the revenue and sales data about those leads into your ad account so you can build up this data. Because just optimizing for what's producing calls or the most calls isn't nowhere near as profitable to you by actually having the profit data and the revenue data to go along with it inside your account so that when you pull the search terms that you want to rank for, SEO-wise, you have the top revenue producing search phrases. And you can say, you'll know what the potential of it is, bottom line, so that if you rank for this term, here's what I'm going to make because it brings in 2 sales a month. If it brings in 2 sales a month now, it's going to bring 2 extra sales a month now if I rank for it organically, and which is about what you can figure. It's like a 1-to-1 for the most part. Okay, it's not even a mystery anymore. These terms here, if I rank them, here's my revenue. Therefore, I can spend XYZ ranking these terms and it's still going to be profitable for me at the end of the day. Unlike with the ads, there's a direct cost to keep running the ads. Once you got the blog posts out there that were made by ChatGPT, there's no ongoing cost. So you should really be excited about this. Anyway, with that said, to make the post, all you got to do is take that search term, okay? Go into ChatGPT, just simply type in, please, ChatGPT, make me a blog post that's SEO optimized for, insert the name of the search term that you want to rank for. Boom, comes out the other end. You got your blog post already. And you can actually say, make the blog post 1,000 words, which is about what I would recommend you do. Then you have it. Then you can also say, make sure the keyword, assuming it doesn't pop it out right away, which it basically should, make sure the keyword that this blog post is supposed to be, the topic is centered around, if you will, is mentioned at least 5 times within the body of the content of this blog post. And it will. Then you take that blog post, you go ahead and you post it on your blog. ChatGPT is going to make the title for you. That's keyword optimized for that exact search term. And you're done. Boom. Pretty simple. With that said, you're going to post the blog post on your site. What I would also recommend is you interlink that blog post with other pages of your site. It seems to help a little bit. Basically, every mention of the keyword, what I would recommend is you link that to a product page on your site or the service page on your site. Okay? It seems to rank a little bit better, and anybody who gets that article that actually reads it, it'll drive some traffic to the page in question. That's almost an optional step. The final step here is, once you do this, okay, you're going to have to give it some time. This isn't going to rank overnight. First of all, the page has to get crawled, and if your blog hasn't been very active, it might take a month for Google to crawl and find out you have this blog or new blog posts on your blog, which once you get this going, by the way, and you consistently do a post every day, which is what I recommend you do to take this strategy to the fullest amount you can, it'll start coming back to your site every day to check for the latest blog post. The rate in which you rank, the speed in which you rank for that keyword that the blog post is there to rank you for will be much, much sooner because of the speed of the crawling of the site by Google's search engine crawler itself. When you notice that you rank for this term, it's on the first page, you're going to update the blog post with a call to action. And you technically could do this sooner than later, but basically what we found that works is, okay, so let's say this is your blog post right here, right? What you want to do is have your blog text down here, and up here, you're going to have your call to action. The user hits this page from Google, they're going to see what you are selling at the very top of your page, and they have to scroll down to get to the content. That way you have basically an ad that you got a free impression on from the user for anybody who gets to the page. Because let's face it, almost nobody's going to care about your text and reading it. What we're hoping to do is have the call to action at the top of the page so good, so attractive, that a majority of the people, well, all we need is 50% of the people to not bounce back to Google, and Google will consider this page as useful to their users. Your ranking that you got just by chance there through the process that I just described, warranted for you to maintain, because this is where people get screwed up. The so-called cheap people who try to use SEO because they're too cheap to run ads, they think all they got to do is just hire an SEO company. The reality is, the SEO companies don't know about making landing pages. You can rank using all the tricks you want. If you get to the first page of Google and people are clicking on your link, they think this page looks like confusing or whatever, and they go back to Google at a high rate, we're like talking 75% of the time, that ranking will disappear. At the end of the day, the tricks you use to get to the first page is just your foot in the door. If you aren't giving users a good experience, you ain't staying ranked. So you have to do stuff to get to the first page, and then when you're there, you got to make sure you show Google it's worth it that you are there. That is high click-through rates on your listing, and more importantly, high conversion rates on the page you're taking them to. Or, if you want to say it, low bounce rates. That is, i.e., users get what they want and expected when they got to your site, so they don't have to go back to Google and keep searching, because Google can see all that activity, whether you served them or not. And actually, it works for you in reverse and to your advantage when you understand this and know how to make good page design. Because you can literally start out, let's say you do your blog post. You rank number 5 as soon as Google throws you in your index, okay? If your page converts users into a sale or keeps them on the site at a high rate, better than the number 4 listing for that keyword, guess what? pretty soon you're going to be in the position 4. And Google's constantly split testing. They're trying to see who needs to be at number 1. So they're going to rotate whoever's at number 1, they're going to rotate people out that's in number 2 and number 1, number 3 and number 1, and find out who's got the highest click-through rates, who's got the highest conversion rates. Whoever has the best is going to be the one that gets planted at number 1, most of the time anyway. They're always seeing how to make the search results better in that way. So your goal with the ChatGPT system is to just luckily, hopefully, get on the first top 10. So that because once you do, because you've invested in hiring somebody who knows how to make good user-based design on your blog post template, that you just crawl up the rankings and boom, now you're number 1, okay? So the top part of the page, it shouldn't just be like an ad either. If you got a cool product, you can get by with making the top part of that page like an ad, and it'll keep people on the page. If you're a lawyer, let's say you're a divorce lawyer, just saying hire us for divorce law right up top, that's not going to be probably the best way to hook them in. What I would do is I would have, given that your main goal is to keep them on your site by any means, it's more important than getting them to turn into a sales lead. If you're a divorce lawyer, you could say, before hiring a divorce lawyer, find out how not to get ripped off. What divorce lawyers don't want you to know. Have an ebook at the top of that page, above the blog post content. It's like what they call a pattern interrupt. They were originally going to go and read that blog post because they saw something up at the top of the page that was so damn good, you actually got them to interrupt what their train of thought and what they were actively going for after clicking on your organic listing from Google. And now they're interested in this ebook. And because they're interested in this ebook, they stopped doing their Google search behavior and started reading your ebook. And in that case, their algorithm's already going to say, yep, this guy helps users. It should, instead of being ranked number 5, it should be ranked 4 or 3 or whatever. And that's how you monetize traffic for a search term that's profitable to you, but also doing it in a way that, because when they click on the organic search results, they're still getting a blog post, how to capture that attention so it actually works for you. Now, if what you're trying to rank for is a commercial search. Let's say you're selling water filters and the blog post was written about anti-fluoride water filters. You write the blog post about that, people get to the page. You literally should have at the top of the page there a product. It could be the same exact product that you sell to everybody else. It has a headline right up there, and whatever the search term is that you're trying to rank for, anti-fluoride water filter. And there's a picture of it, and there's a headline there, and then the blog post is towards the bottom of the page. To sum this up for you, if the term you're going for, that you're trying to rank for, is a commercial search, a buying search, people looking to buy a product or service, you can have at the top of the page the search term as a headline to confirm to users that's something you specialize in, and then a form or link to a product page where they can get it. The keyword is, in other words, divorce lawyers with high ratings, okay? You want the headline on the top of your blog post to say, divorce lawyer with the highest ratings, or something very close to that, and a link or a forum for them to be able to opt in to contact that lawyer. And / if you wanted to spice it up a bit more, you could say why you're the best divorce lawyer with the highest rating in the city that you're in or whatnot there. If the search term was, what kind of lawyer do you hire for child custody cases? Which is something a divorce lawyer also handles technically. And in that case, then what you have at the top of the page is more so like the informational approach that I talked about before. Before you hire a lawyer for a child custody case, find out what child custody case lawyers do not want you to know. If you really want this to work, you got to pay attention to what it is the person wanted if they were using that search phrase on Google in the first place, and be able to deliver it to them up front at the top of the page. Either an ebook works the best, basically most of the time. You link them to the product or service opt-in itself, link to the product page where the product is sold, or form to opt in right away. One or the other. You could technically get creative and instead of just linking to the product page and saying anti-fluoride water filter, you could have that at the top of the page written out for them, the picture of the filter, and then a video that shows why it's great for filtering out fluoride and do a little bit better. But you get the general gist. Either it's a commercial search or a non-commercial search. If it's a commercial search, you just tell them that this product or service does what it is that you're after. If it's not a commercial search, you get them by offering really, really, really good content that'll stop them from even getting to the blog post, because if they get to the blog post, they ain't gonna stick around because ChatGPT content sucks ass, okay? So it's a pattern interrupt what you're doing here. You spend the real resources in making the ebook good, so they want the ebook, so they never get to the blog post, because the blog post is really just for the search engine to get traffic to the page, if that makes sense. That in and itself is the system. If you wanna wait, the reason why I update the top of the page with your call to action to the last step is because in order to have the call to action at the top of the page really work well, to do its job like it's supposed to do to keep people on the page and generate leads and business and all this, it needs to be customized for each search term. You wait till a page ranks to the top of the page call to action for yourself, then you know at least if you invest the time to make a little custom video explaining why this is the best anti-fluoride water filter, have to design the top of the page and spend $100 doing that, you know it's fine because this thing ranks at the top of the Google already. Not only is it going to bring in some sales just because it's in the top 10 on Google, but it'll also climb the ranks once the thing gets going, like I was saying before, and Google gets to get familiar with the page and how well it keeps the traffic sticking on the page, which, going back to what I was saying at the very beginning of this video, beauty of this is you could go after search terms that nobody else tries to rank for because they don't know it's profitable, or that it gets low search volume, but because the conversion rate's so high, they don't go after it. Anyway, with that case, your call to action is going to seem really enticing because it exactly matches what they typed in, and that nobody else has like a dedicated page to send people to for that exact search phrase. So you can see how all this works because it legitimately helps the user get what they want, whereas nobody else offers it. The ChatGPT thing just gets the process kick-started of traffic driving to your site for that search term. And then once it is, you do everything you can to monetize that search and give users what they wanted or what they would find useful. Google sees it and then ranks you even higher. Okay, follow me? Now the key thing is only 4 to 5 word phrases will typically rank easily. Why? Because any 2 or 3 word phrases, everybody who's doing SEO for themselves are going to be apt to go for them because they think the higher the search volume, the better, which I'm telling you here, that's not necessarily the case because the more specific the search, the higher the conversion rate as a whole. That's just how it is because people who make more specific, longer phrases, search phrases in Google are closer to making a purchase. Somebody who's looking for divorce lawyer is not going to hire somebody and turn into a lead at the same rate as best rated divorce lawyer Tampa. It's just not. This is the case regardless of what business niche you're talking about, right? So it's still worth it to go after that search phrase anyway, even though there's only 10 searches a month for it, because it converts at 10 times rate that divorce lawyer converts at. And you can do this 500 times over for 500 different phrases still, right? I'm just trying to tell you here that writing a ChatGPT blog post to get to someone to the site for a 2-word search phrase, given that there's probably really good pages for Google to send traffic to for those phrases and that have backlinks to back it up, basically not going to rank for those terms and you're wasting your time. This is a strategy to get terms that nobody else is optimizing for to rank really easy for those terms, and you can have 500 search terms. You do a blog post a day for the next 500 days like we did. Sometimes they'll rank right away, sometimes they won't. When they rank, you update the top of the page and put a really good call to action there, and then it ranks better and better. And so each one that pops up on Google, you get the full advantage of the traffic you can get from it, and so that you stay ranked as much as you can, and you just keep building up the SEO traffic to your site more and more this way, which is going to work beautifully as long as somebody else in your niche market doesn't end up watching this video and replicating the strategy. For the most part, you should, even if they did watch this, they're probably not going to do it because most people are lazy. They watch this channel for entertainment purposes. Even though they, in their mind, think that they're going to do this stuff, they don't. So don't worry about that necessarily. But that's the process right there in a nutshell. Find out what you're trying to rank for that nobody else is ranking for. Create a blog post. Throw it out there. Wait for it to get indexed by Google. When it does, if it ranks on the first page of Google for that term, you update and prettify the page so that you're going to get the most from the ranking that you got, and so that it stays ranked and even ranks higher. And then you do it with the next blog post and the next and the next. Now I know some of you guys are thinking, wow, this is amazing. What if I, instead of doing 1 blog post a day, I do 2 or 3 or 5? I haven't tested this all the way through to see to what extent you can actually milk this strategy for all it's worth. Because in some spaces, like if you're selling women's clothing, there's tens of thousands of keywords you could actually create custom blog posts for. I don't know to what extent you could go with this. For me though, logic says, as long as you're able to keep people on the page when they click through your blog post, you could do an unlimited amount per day. Because to Google at the end of the day, they just want to rank whatever is going to help their users want to use Google next time and get a good experience from what they saw, so they want to be more likely to use Google in the future. As long as you can do that, there is no limits. The problem is, the more the pages you do, the more you have to update once it's ranking or even before it ranks, so that people legitimately get a good experience when landing on the page. You're not going to get ahead with it because you're not going to stay ranked, like I was talking about before. Like anything else in marketing, you should crawl before you run, or walk, whatever you want to say. You should do it, start conservatively, do 1 a week even, do what I'm telling you here, get it making money, and then as you're making money, start going to 1 a day. And by then, what the return on investment of it is, pay somebody else. All their job is to prettify these pages. And then once that's working, you can invest and get 2 guys helping you, 3 guys helping you, 4 guys helping you. And know what the return is once you multiply it. You basically just develop a larger and larger team the further you want to take it. Not doing the lazy approach, which is what everybody wants to do, is press 1 button and then all the sales come flying in. And if it were that easy, it wouldn't make that much money to begin with. Start small, see how much it makes for you. Visualize how much more you would make if you just did it times 10, and really do it times 10 with the same quality. Not just do it times 10 with a half-ass quality, because it's not going to work out the way that you want if Google doesn't like pages that you're producing at the end of the day, so to say. If you wanted to know someone that could help you out with this and get this first part started so you know what to rank for and get your ads working, this is what we do for clients at our firm, reach out to me at guaranteedppc.com. Be more than happy to give you a quote and guarantee on how much sales results we can bring your firm with an ad campaign. We also, by the way, sell ad templates. If you want to just get results with none of the work that you have to figure out what works and what doesn't work in your market, if we worked in your niche market before, we could sell you the winning ads, landing pages, all of it that work for your niche market. Copy paste those babies right in your ad account and get the same results we are in a different geographic market. We got people that have bought these templates to generate leads so they can sell them because they work so well. We've had people buy these templates to start an e-commerce business when they were in doing lawn care before, and now they're selling printer toner because they have a winning ad template that works to sell that type of product, and they did it in a country that our client isn't in, so there's no conflict of interest. If you want any of those templates, we can tell you what the results you're going to get with it up front, and we've worked in over 100 niche markets in the last 10 years. So there's a whole ton of templates that you could buy, and therefore likely have worked in your niche already, or one almost like it, used to your advantage as well. So anyway, if you're interested in templates or literally just help on your campaigns in a guaranteed way or on a guaranteed basis, reach out to me at guaranteedppc.com. I'd be happy to speak with you. By the way, if anything I'm talking about here on this ChatGPT strategy that we used, leave me a comment in the comment section. I get back to every single person who leaves me a question or comment on this channel, usually within 24 hours time. I love giving back to my viewers on this channel because, hey, just by watching and commenting, you're helping the channel grow, get to our end goal, which is to be the biggest PPC channel on YouTube, which we're on the course for that now. And naturally, we should have to give back for, you making our channel grow and getting to what we're trying to get to here. With that said, I mentioned, if you watch to the end of the video, I would tell you about how much this actually makes. So you can basically get excited, for lack of better words, about doing this strategy for yourself, given it is a lot of work, technically at the end of the day, mainly because you have to beautify the pages once they rank, stay ranked, and to get the full value out of what you're doing here. I mean, you can do ChatGPT and get the pages to rank and do nothing else after that to make sure the traffic who hits the page converts at a high rate or the highest rate they can, get a little bit of benefit out of it. My opinion is, if you're going to only do that, you don't even waste your time with it because it's not going to really pay the way that you want it to pay. But if you are going to do it, it's the best SEO strategy you can basically have because you're going after stuff that there's no competition on, and it's Therefore, you'll get rankings super quick. And without having to invest tens of thousands of dollars in backlinks before anything happens. And at least you should do the easy stuff before you get to the hard stuff. By the time you get to the hard stuff, it will become easy, like I was saying before. But with that said, if you want to know how well this works, okay, with this said, okay, I told you about the company where we did this exclusively or specifically was a home goods product, something that you put in your backyard basically to beautify your backyard. Okay, we went ahead and used the search terms. We did this. We did 300 blog posts. Okay, took all the 300 most highest converting revenue-wise search terms from our search campaign and our Google account, and then sprinkle that and did one post a day. We dedicated one employee to make the blog post, have the pages rank. When the pages rank, the pages were then, we invested in making the page better. Basically from the time that we started this, by the time we got 6 months in, we were generating over 100 visits a day to the website, which of the traffic, if we didn't beautify the pages, that traffic was going to convert at like 1 in 1,000 or right around 1 in 1,000 users who were hitting the pages, which is garbage, even though the product sells for thousands of dollars. Once though, we made the top of the page talk about the product that we were selling, and that there's a link to a demo on the product page that you should check out that shows how cool this is and gives them a little bit of a preview of what they're going to get by clicking the link. And then when they get to the product page, they can see that now they're on the product page. They're knee deep into the process. Now they're going to really start studying the product. And then we have remarketing going after that, which you should be doing if you want the full value out of this, by the way. Instead of converting at 1 in 1,000, we were closing at like 1 in 250. So much better. Still not amazing, but that's not bad for, a product that sells for thousands of dollars. It's actually not too bad. Now, just to give you a base of comparison here, the traffic from the search campaign itself converts at like 0.5% to 1% in that general range. So it converts 2-3 times better than the traffic hitting our blog post. But you got to also consider the people who click through our ad. Even though it's from that one same specific term, those people are ready to buy. And people that normally click on organic search results and think that they're going to get a blog post, those people, it's just not quite the same quality of traffic. But after 6 months, we were already doing 100 extra additional organic traffic visits per day to the website. Once we got a year in already, we went from 100 per day to a few hundred per day already. We're talking an extra 20, 30 sales a month from using this strategy by itself. Overall, when we're talking about our ads, that's about what we're getting from our ads as a whole. Basically, like I was saying at the end of the day, if you could make 50 grand a month in sales from your PPC ads, you should be able to make that in organic, trying to target the same terms, roughly speaking. And once you know what terms to rank, you know what terms are worth investing in. Once you know what terms convert on the pay-per-click ads side of your business, you know what it's worth trying to rank on the SEO side of your business and investing in to try to rank, because it's going to give you an immediate direct return that the return it's going to give you up front. So you're not really gambling with your money. And then you basically forget about all the 2-3 keyword phrases, go after the 4 and 5 alone, and use the strategy I'm talking about here, and then your organic traffic is just going to slowly ramp up, and up. Not just from the standpoint that you have more and more blog posts going out per day, and therefore you're targeting more and more keywords, but like I was saying before, the amount of the actual ranking you get itself is going to keep going up. You started at 10, now you're 9, now you're at 8, due to the split testing that Google's search algorithm's constantly doing to see who has the better page for that keyword that you're trying to rank for. That's why we went up from 100 a day to hundreds a day, more so than just having that much more content, because you're going to get compounding of the rankings you have, constantly get better rankings, and then new rankings to go along with it the further you get into it. And eventually the increase in rankings should be most of what you get in terms of an increase in traffic. Why? Because you're only going to have so many blog posts that you can make on terms that get regular searches for most niches. Unless you're in like women's clothing, and then it could go on for a long time. But eventually you're going to hit a roadblock with it. There's like 1,000 search phrases that people type in that are 4 or 5 word combinations to go after. And you create a blog post for all of them. And then for all the ones that rank, that you made the pages convert as high as you can for each user, and then that keeps your rankings going up. It keeps giving you a higher and higher return from what you're doing all the time. That, and the more organic traffic you drive to your site, the more the terms that you didn't rank for right away as soon as Google crawled the page, you'll start ranking for as well, because you have more domain authority, as well as 2 or 3 word combinations that you'd like to rank for that bring in a lot of search volume and a lot of search traffic. Those are easier to rank and start to rank more because your 4 or 5 word combinations have ranked so well and you're bringing in so much traffic from those. Anyway, with that said, we're talking tens of thousands of dollars in sales a month. We're talking 50,000 in sales plus a month just from the blog traffic itself that are driving to the site, when having done this for a year already, 1 a day, religiously, every single page, making a really well-designed page once it starts to rank, so that we have the best page on the Google search results for that term by a factor of 2 or more, because we took it seriously and we understood that if it ranks #1, it's going to bring in a decent amount of sales consistently from there on. At least as much as what's going to come in from Google itself for that search term. Once it ranks #1, it will bring in as much sales as your ad run very aggressively with 90% impression share on the top of Google. By the way, if you haven't also subscribed to this channel, you absolutely should already, because the information I'm giving you on this particular channel is coming from somebody who spends 40 hours a week doing ad testing by itself as my sole job at our advertising firm, and I give you for free everything that's working and not working at our firm. Do testing on dozens of ad accounts to tell you exactly what's working and what's not working in today's environment, which is unique because most of the other people that have YouTube channels about ad strategy don't know anything about ad strategy. They're regurgitating what Google or Facebook is saying because they don't really run any ads. They run a firm, but they're not in the weeds doing any of the work, or they run a couple campaigns, which is not enough to know what works and what doesn't work as a whole. They're just trying to sell you a course or make money off of advertising. I actually have a firm we're running here, and it's a decent sized firm, and I'm doing the lead strategy on every single account that comes in. So there's no better information you can learn from than on this channel, I promise you. And if there is, I'd be humble enough to admit it. I'd like to know where there's better information. So subscribe already. You can also check out my blog at guaranteedppc.com/blog. The blog has actual step-by-step instructions to execute the strategies we use to guarantee results for our clients. So if you wanted to know how to do those and where those are at, that's where you could find it. You have screenshots and everything else you would need to use those strategies all listed there on the blog. If you like the channel, you're going to like the blog as well. Anyway, with that said, that gives you the overall system and then shows you how much this basically can work, okay? Your results will vary based upon your industry size, your level of domain authority you have right now. I talked about if you have a very high domain authority right now, you could even go ahead and use this strategy to rank 2 or 3 word phrases and it'll work. If you're just starting out today though and you have a brand new website, only 5 word phrases may rank by getting the blog post indexed by Google by itself. Is probably the biggest factor. The best SEO for yourself, not trying to rank a website that gets no traffic because you can't afford to buy traffic, is a really hard endeavor. Genuinely harder to make your business work than it is to just get a small ad budget on Google working, then go back to SEO to double, triple down on what you're making from the pay-per-click ads. Take it from me. Google wants to send traffic to people who don't need the traffic because they want to send traffic to the well-known hitters in the space because they're the least likely to rip off their customers. If they send it to any fly-by-night company that's popping up, chances are there'd be a bigger chance that they get ripped off. That would make people not want to come to Google in the future. So their best bet is just to send it to the top guy that don't need it, that could easily pay for the traffic. You either become big to get the traffic and it comes easy, or you just never get it. So, and this is kind of like a hack to get in, to become the big guy without having to have a pile of money to start out with to get there. It just takes being very diligent to get an ad campaign working and then doing more to get the easiest keywords to rank, then you go after a little bit harder ones and a little bit harder ones. That's typically the clients that I work with that scale to many millions of dollars a year in sales profitably from a very, very small starting point, how they're basically doing it. They went after all the low-hanging fruit, then they went after, and you use that money to go after a little bit harder stuff to monetize, and they kept doing that again and again, reinvesting, and now they're doing 10 million a year in sales, whereas before they were doing 100,000, and they were smart about what they were doing as a result. So anyway, with that said, I'll wrap it up with that. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.
Remember when I said ChatGPT was important during this video? Well, this video here tells you how to do it.